Oh my goodness, people of the world. Is it Thursday? Is it 10:30? Oh, it certainly is. Trump, can you believe it? Set to announce an executive order against social media companies. Google Ads credits for small and mid-sized businesses rolling out. That's money in your pocket. Enable YouTube bedtime reminder. What now? Nighty-night time with the YouTube? How do we do it? Starbucks to rev up marketing as U.S. stores gradually reopen. You are listening and watching Marketing as a Foreign Language. My name is Kellen Kausman, and we are going to get the ball rolling. Trump is set to announce an executive order against social media companies. Brian Fung with CNN Politics writes, President Donald Trump is set to announce an executive order against social media companies on Thursday, days after Twitter called two of his tweets, quote, potentially misleading. The draft executive order being prepared by the Trump administration tests the boundaries of the White House's authority. Oh, does it? In a long-shot legal bid, it seeks to curtail the power of large social media platforms by reinterpreting a critical 1996 law that shields websites and tech companies from lawsuits. Shielding tech companies from lawsuits. It marks a dramatic escalation by Trump in his war with tech companies as they struggle with the growing problem of misinformation on social media. Turns out people don't always tell the truth. I know it's crazy, listeners. I know, but it happens to be true. The draft order, which was reviewed by CNN, targets a law known as the Communications Decency Act. Decency and communication. Who knew? Section 230 of the legislation provides broad immunity to websites that curate and moderate their own platforms and has been described by legal experts as, quote, the 26 words that created the internet. Do websites have a right to say, you know what, we find this information misleading, a user of ours is posting something that we don't want? I think a lot of folks would agree that websites have the ability to moderate their own content. Do they not? Am I missing something? It argues that the protections hinge mainly on tech platforms operating, quote, in good faith, and that social media companies have not. Okay, so if I have 72 million followers on, say, Twitter, and I type something that could be construed as potentially misleading or not, depending on which side of the political aisle you're on, then it's not really about the truth anymore, is it? It's about power. We're talking about a power struggle between two opposing forces, quote, in a country that has long cherished the freedom of expression. Oh yeah, I'm for it, 100%, let's go. We cannot allow a limited number of online platforms to handpick the speech that Americans may access and convey online. So NBC, CNN, Fox, you name the media outlet, they have massive reach and have always had massive reach. I have not been able to go on Fox. I have not been able to go on MSNBC or CNN or any of these shows simply because I don't have access. Now, income, Facebook, Twitter, and the like, and you can grow a following. You can have your very own Fox. You can have your very own MSNBC. But what is the drawback? The drawback is that you still are relying on the Twitter machine. And if the Twitter machine does not like what you're doing as a private company, do they have the ability? Of course they do. They can censor you all they want, can't they? Isn't it a private company? Is it ethical for them to do so? Even if you disagree with President Trump or agree with him, what is the precedent being set if Twitter says, you know what, we don't like you and what you're saying? Is it enough to simply provide misleading information to get kicked off the platform? Quote, this practice is fundamentally un-American and anti-democratic when large, powerful social media companies censor opinions with which they disagree. That's what I just said. They exercise a dangerous power. On Tuesday, Twitter applied a fact check to two of Trump's tweets. I get that the President of the United States is under considerable amounts of scrutiny and he should be held to the highest standards. I do wonder what would occur with people, just Joe Schmoes, if they were to develop an algorithm that fact checks. Let's say you have 22,000 followers and Twitter develops an AI algorithm that fact checks whether or not what you're saying is accurate, and you believe something to be true, and you tweet it, and you suffer some sort of ban or punishment due to the fact that the AI has deemed it not to be true. So on Tuesday, we've got Twitter applying a fact check. I wonder what that means, including one that falsely claimed mail-in ballots would lead to widespread voter fraud. Trump immediately shot back, accusing the social media giant of censorship and warning that if it continued to offer addendums to his messages, he would use the power of the federal government to rein it in or even shut it down. We are talking, obviously, about a fight. This is just a fight. Perhaps it isn't even about what would happen to Joe Schmo down the line. Perhaps the precedent isn't necessarily the main issue. We have two superpowers attacking one another during an epidemic. And this, of course, is what tends to cause large-scale chaos. Maybe you need to see a chiropractor because your back is out of alignment. This crazy chaos, or maybe drink some chamomile tea. Anybody? Up for some chamomile so we can chill out? Did you see what we did there? The draft order also accuses social media platforms of, quote, invoking inconsistent, irrational, and groundless justifications to censor or otherwise punish American speech here at home. I feel like referring to something as groundless requires that your name end in Esquire. I find this mac and cheese to be a groundless assertion of lunch, said my daughter to me the other day. It also faults Google for helping the Chinese government surveil its citizens, Twitter for spreading Chinese propaganda, and Facebook for profiting from Chinese advertising. I know it seems like being, Mr. Zuckerberg, it would be the best thing ever. Testifying in front of Congress does not sound like a good way to spend my week. Yes, they're billionaires, but oh me, oh my, they are entangled in something that is a bit sticky. Facebook, Google, and Twitter didn't respond immediately to a request for comment. A fight Trump wants to have. Yes, if I know anything about President Trump is that he loves to stir up emotions. The move highlights what Trump believes is a fight worth having in many ways. The latest episode with Twitter feeds Trump's narrative that there are powerful forces in the media aligned against him, and that his is the only voice his supporters can trust. Okay, the main point of the article is that we are watching two behemoths go at it. Twitter, the president. These are unprecedented times. What does it mean for you? This means that we need to keep an eye on censorship as it revolves around your ability to post online. This doesn't have a direct impact on you. This fight does not have a direct impact on you, I would argue, as a small business, directly to your bottom line. That being said, if, again, Twitter decides to add an AI that begins to add addendums to what you're saying, if it thinks what you're saying is inaccurate, then oh yeah, it's going to start affecting you. Google Ads credits for small and mid-sized businesses start rolling out. That's cash money. That's cash money in your pocket. The $340 million program will phase in over the coming weeks. Ginny Marvin on Search Engine Land Right. Starting today, Google is beginning the first phase of its program to provide $340 million in Google Ads advertising credits. Oh, let's get paid. For eligible small and medium-sized businesses qualifying advertisers in New Zealand. New, not old or average-aged Zealand. The newest of Zealands will be the first recipients of this program. Why? Something to do with the rare exotic birds that live in New Zealand. That's why they made that particular choice. Advertisers that qualify will be notified and see the credit to be used for future advertising in their Google Ads accounts. How much? How many dollar bills, y'all? Google also has provided more information about the amount of the credits. The amount will vary by advertiser, oh me, oh my, based on historical spend, up to a maximum of 1,000 US dollars, or the equivalent in the currency of the account. Meh. A G, I guess, I suppose. If Google wants to play government and they want to come in and give money to advertisers, that's fine. You got to remember, $1,000 to Google, $1,000 that they're giving to an account, I guess You know what? It feels like they've grown to such a size that they're functioning like a government entity. Why would they do this? Well, it is entirely possible that they're looking at this as a long-term investment. I give you $1,000 now. It helps stimulate your local microeconomy, which is a ridiculously obnoxious way to say it keeps your business alive. So I give you $1,000. The chances of you staying alive increase. I need your money. Google sells links. That's what they do. They sell links and they want to keep selling links. And if people don't want to buy their links, then they're out of luck. So yes, you can look at this as, oh, thank you, Papa Google, for swinging it and helping out the small business owner. But this is like, I don't know, it's like the payday loan company, like helping someone with like during a troubled time, but they're going to get their money in the long run. So I'm a little cynical. I see it both ways. Advertisers will receive 1 credit and have until December 31st to use it, after which it will expire. Why doesn't it just automatically apply? Why is this being phased in? Google has long had a coupon program for new advertisers, but the company had to build a new product and infrastructure to support this credit program. The phasing process will help ensure a smooth rollout for the new system. Google says that after starting with New Zealand, it aims to roll out the credits next several weeks. Interesting. To be eligible, if you want the dollar bills, y'all, this program is intended to support existing dedicated advertisers who have been affected by COVID-19. To be eligible for the credit, you will need to have run Google ad campaigns in 10 out of 12 months in 2019. That's bad news for some of our listeners. Oh my goodness, we're up to 2,000 listeners right now. What's going on, listeners? Stop blowing up chat. Too many chat messages coming on through. 3,000? Yes, we're killing it. It doesn't matter if the campaigns were run in Google Ads accounts directly or through a partner. Okay, so if you're already running Google Ads, you need to put on your to-do list Google Ads credits. If you're working with a pay-per-click provider, you want to send them an email now saying, I know it's only in New Zealand right now, but they're going to be giving out $1,000. So get me that $1,000, pay-per-click company. I want it. There is no way to apply to this program. They should have led with that. It should go like this. Google Ads credits for small, medium business start rolling out. There is no way to apply to this program. Seems ominous. Why we care. The credits are designed to be used to help small and mid-sized businesses start to re-engage customers. Oh, yes, we're re-engaging with ads. That's what we're doing. I'm not trying to make money or feed my family. I'm just re-engaging with the customer. That's what we're doing. We're just re-engaging with the customer. COVID-19 crisis has severely affected small business. No. And these credits are part of a larger effort to support this important customer base. Yeah, okay, I get it. Earlier today, the company introduced Google My Business features aimed at helping small businesses adapt, survive the crisis. Blurdy, blah, blah, blah. There's $1,000 out there potentially for you. Go check it out. Enable YouTube bedtime reminder feature. I think my daughter needs a YouTube bedtime reminder feature to cut down screen time. Here's how you do it. May 26th, 2020, video streaming app YouTube has launched a digital well-being feature. If you don't have self-control, you can, of course, use this incredible app that will give you self-control. It will actually infuse your soul with more willpower if you don't have willpower. Feature called Bedtime Reminders. With this feature, people can take a break from YouTube and sleep on time. The coronavirus pandemic has taken a toll on our life and has created havoc all around the world. In order to curb the spread of blah, 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 people are staying indoors. Amid lockdown, people are spending more and more time on social media apps. YouTube has become everybody's favorite during this time. It allows you to watch movies. Oh my goodness, are you telling us what YouTube is? You can also save videos on this. Okay. YouTube Bedtime Reminders. Video streaming app YouTube has launched a digital well-being feature called Bedtime Reminders. The feature will prompt the users to log off at night. Are we children? Are we children? Huge shout out to Brad Hess with Handyman Matters for the comment. Brad writes, Kellen, your hair is on point today. Congratulations. He's right about that. I would like to give a special shout out to my hair and makeup team. It's funny because Brad actually did my hair this morning. So Brad Hess, huge shout out to you. Absolutely killing it. Oh, by the way, we are streaming live. Do you know how we know it's live? Because there are mistakes all over the place. Yeah, it's so real, so fresh, so Brad Hess. Leave a comment in chat, people. Get in that chat box, you know you want to. Even if you do just want to compliment my hair, which again, thousands of people a day compliment me on my hair. Cannot go a day without that being a reality. With this new feature, YouTube will promote the well-being of the individual, where people can take a break from YouTube and sleep on time. The users will be allowed to set a limit on their streaming time, so they will be restricted from using the screen for a longer time. I don't need Papa YouTube. I don't need Big Brother YouTube telling me when I need to turn off my screen. I guess if you're a parent, there is some application of this. Thus, this app helps users to cut down on their screen time, where they can set reminders to stop watching a video. This is unbelievable. Moving right along, Starbucks to rev up marketing as U.S. stores gradually reopen. I want to be very clear about my thoughts on the Starbucks machine. I drink coffee, I drink tea. Caffeine's a drug. It's a drug. And these folks, like, it's funny to me because the CEO and all these people that have made Starbucks this ubiquitous sort of entity worldwide get all this acclaim for being so amazing. They're pushing a drug, man. It's a drug. And so on the one hand, I'm like, yes, it takes incredible entrepreneurial drive and spirit to get to that level. I watched the CEO of Starbucks talk about how they got into China and they're not really a coffee drinking culture and it's more of a tea thing, and it's really like family based, and they want to know that the folks that work at Starbucks can really grow. And so there are layers and layers and layers of complexity to having done what they've done. But at the end of the day, it's $5, it's a $5 drug. I see this, of course, when, during the coronavirus pandemic, going to the local Albertsons to do some shopping, and there is a gigantic line around Starbucks. So I don't feel a lot of sympathy for Starbucks. I think they're probably doing just fine. The reason we're going to read this particular article is because it is a trend marker of what is happening in our economy, more specifically in one of the most notable brands. Starbucks next week will expand marketing activity to support its delayed spring menu as the coffee chain gradually reopens U.S. stores that had been closed during the COVID-19 pandemic. I will say this about Starbucks. A huge shout out to them for providing entrepreneurs a space to do their work. The fact that Starbucks is not available now has crossed my mind. Why is this the case? This is, of course, the case because if my internet goes down, I can't just go to Starbucks. And so it's almost as if we have collectively, as a culture, said, okay, we love our caffeine drug, big fan of that drug. We'll take the intravenous option, thank you very much. But in response, you need to provide us a super chill area that all of us can, in the result of a divorce, in the result of some horrible thing happening in our lives, we can go to a Starbucks, hang out there for an indeterminate period of time, have internet access. It's almost like a public service. And it's like the casinos funding the no state income tax. In Nevada, it's like Starbucks drug caffeine pushing is funding this like fourth bedroom. You know what? I think Starbucks should be called fourth bedroom or third bedroom. I think that might be a more accurate depiction of what they actually are. Just let me get out of the house. Meeting space for people who don't have offices. As we all go to a more virtual work environment, I think Starbucks does. Let's just nationalize Starbucks. That's all I'm saying. We'll just nationalize Starbucks. Does anyone see a problem with that? No? Nationalized coffee, is that okay? Starbucks will spend within its existing advertising budget for the year, but plans to squeeze those efforts into an accelerated schedule that focuses on mobile ordering and pickup. Its marketing will include TV, digital, paid, social, and owned media, of course, because they have all the money in the world. Based on its actions in China as the pandemic subsided, Starbucks will use a, quote, monitor and adapt strategy to reopen U.S. stores while paying attention to safety procedures. Okay. Point, of course, is that we're coming back. I think we're coming back. I don't know if we're going to see a second wave of foreclosures. My scientist friends tell me that it is, of course, based entirely on the rate of spread, how many people a person infects, we need to avoid an exponential curve, obviously, save lives, blah, blah, blah. So the fact that we're seeing these large institutions jump back into the game, for me, is, and I heard this word used the other day, heartening. That just increased my face punchability by 3 points. That's a heartening statistic. Well, chat, I don't know about you, but I find that particular statistic quite heartening. Okay, Trump. Oh, Trump. Fighting against Twitter. What's the summary? What's the point? AI censorship might be a thing. Twitter might come in and say what you said is incorrect. They're not perhaps intending for that to be the case, but as they fight against gigantic forces like the federal government, it is entirely possible that they will institute a technological solution. And so my prediction is that we are going to start seeing AI responses to social media, probably within the next 3 years, if it's not already happening. So let's say you write something like, masks don't actually help people with, spreading the virus. And then this little Twitter highlight bot writes a message and says, this may be a misleading fact, or something like that. Like asterisk, you may want to check the validity of this particular comment. And what a world to live in if that's the case. I think that's where we're heading. Because again, AI is not only smarter than us, it is incomprehensibly more intelligent than us. We cannot fathom just how intelligent it is. There's $1,000 waiting for you in your Google Ads account. New Zealand is the first rollout, but in the upcoming months, there might be 1G of money that if you don't realize you can go get that money, you may be missing out. So talk to your pay-per-click provider, call Google, get that $1,000 of free money from the Google machine. If you don't have enough willpower to go to bed at night, then I guess you could add this sleep timer. It seems good this YouTube bedtime reminder. Seems like a good thing for kiddos. Give it to my kiddos so that it just shuts down at a certain time. But if I am a responsible parent, of course, I would simply just put them to bed. Starbucks. Okay, fine. Starbucks coming back online. What's the point? The point, of course, is that we are perhaps on our way to getting things back going. Now, on that point, things start heating up. We start getting back to work. What is this fall? I've heard from certain folks that we've basically just sprained our ankle, you could say, and we haven't even woke up the next day, where you can't even put a toe on the ground. It is possible that the worst is yet to come. It is entirely possible that the trillions of dollars in stimulus that we've spent has set us afloat for the meantime. So I would take a somewhat conservative approach if you are starting to see things pick back up. Obviously, we need to rehire. We need to get folks back to work. I am concerned about the fall. I have my concerns. Now, I think the traditional feeling for most people is fear-based. It's what keeps us alive. We want to have that anxiety. People who don't have anxiety when it comes to shows or public speaking, I don't know. Maybe they're not as good, or they've been doing it so long that the anxiety has somewhat faded. That anxiety gets us to think about what it is that we're about to do. And so, friends, perhaps the anxiety for this upcoming fall is overblown. Perhaps the housing market will be just fine. Perhaps there won't be an incredible wave of foreclosures. Perhaps this isn't a slow-moving wave that is going to threaten to come crashing ashore. Perhaps, but I think the smart money at this point is taking things one step at a time. I am hearing a ton of promising news about local businesses, like Ace Handyman, Brad Hess. Give them a call. Fix your door. Is your door broken? Call Brad Hess. That's what you should do. I am hearing positive stories about companies hopping back online, and kicking butt, which makes me very happy. The paycheck protection money A lot of folks are getting it. My heart goes out to anyone who has not received that money. I think there is going to be a gigantic class action lawsuit of businesses that were not able to receive that funding. I think we're going to be talking about paycheck protection money fraud for the next 5 to 10 years. I think we're going to hear ridiculous stories about that as time progresses. And at the end of the day, if there's money in the bank from the PPP, we've got people in wildly disparate situations. There are folks who have actually benefited, come out on top after they receive their PPP money. And then there are, of course, clients, a school that used to be a client of ours that was just decimated, absolutely decimated. I've seen it all, up, down, left, and right. And so this one-size-fits-all solution perhaps was a bit myopic, saying that, oh, everyone should get money. I get that it was an emergency and we just sent it out to everyone. But if you have a local business in your world, for example, the Taekwondo studio that I go to, Spirit Taekwondo, I am supporting them. I continue to pay them every month. They're offering digital classes. It's not the same. But yeah, I'm paying them because I appreciate them. We're really hoping that the studio can open back up. But that's a hard-hit industry. I mean, how are they supposed to have classes, with 15 people in a relatively small room? So, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps if there is a little bit of money in the bank, it might be time to consider a conservative approach. This summer, I've said before, is the summer of advertising. There's going to be a lot of desperate people spending money this summer to try to make up for the losses and try to keep their business alive. So being cognizant that it's going to get a bit more competitive every single week as we push into the summer. Because again, think about restaurants advertising. Ooh, me, oh my. Don't put that chicken in that pie. It's going to get real. A lot of restaurants are going to be running promotions. A lot of people are going to be trying to get folks through the door. And of course, when you don't have a ton of money to do that, it makes it even more challenging. So, marketing is like learning a foreign language. Thank you very much for swinging by. Hope you picked up a tidbit or two. Hopefully, you can get that $1,000 from Google. Hopefully, we aren't censored into oblivion because giant behemoths are attacking one another. And hopefully, you will be able to go to your favorite restaurant soon. I love you all. I'm so proud of you. You guys are the best. I will see you, tomorrow. And that is Kellen Kausman signing off.